Welcome back to the deep dive. You're here because, well, you want to be the most informed person in the room, right? And today, that room is buzzing about the absolute cutting edge of smartphones. We are diving into a device our sources are calling, frankly, a monster, the Oppo Find X9 Pro. It's slated for late 2025.
It really does sound like a paradigm shifter. And our mission today, it isn't just, reading off a spec sheet.
Right.
We need to really unpack what makes this phone so different, especially its camera setup, because it comes in two boxes.
Two boxes.
Yeah, the standard phone box, plus this separate professional accessory kit.
Yeah.
The Hasselblad teleconverter. We really need to get into what that means, that whole dual unboxing thing.
Okay, I like that. Let's start with the phone itself then. Box number one.
Yeah.
What's inside?
Pretty standard stuff, actually. You get the phone, obviously, the Super VOOC 80W fast charger, cable, SIM tool, and just a basic silicone case, the essentials.
That's utility package, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's look at the design thinking here. Oppo's Find series, they've always experimented, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. Remember those pop-up cameras?
And the big circular camera bumps. Well, now they've landed on something. Well, more practical, more ergonomic, I'd say.
I saw that in the design leaks. They've gone for a flatter frame and, crucially, a flat display. That's a big win for usability, I think.
Definitely. Less accidental touches, better grip.
And the camera module, it's changed, too. It's that sort of square circle shape shifted over to the side. Gives it that professional camera feel that seems popular now.
Yeah, like we've seen on some OnePlus phones recently. And that pro feel carries through to the finish, too. The color name is, well, it's titanium charcoal.
Titanium charcoal. Sounds a bit serious. Maybe like a high-end kitchen gadget.
Huh, maybe. But it looks really sharp, very sleek, dark gray.
And they're backing up that look with serious durability too, right? Not just the usual IP68.
No, they've added IP69 as well. That's the one for high-pressure, high-temperature water resistance.
Wow. Okay, so they really expect people to take this thing out into the elements, maybe with that fancy accessory kit.
I think that's exactly the idea. They want you to put it through its paces. Now, the display, that's the first big engineering flex. A 6.78-inch flat panel.
Flat. That immediately tells me they're prioritizing color accuracy, consistency over those curved edges.
Right. And the tech inside is just packed. 10-bit color, HDR10 plus Dolby Vision, and, importantly, LTPO for the refresh rate.
Okay, break down LTPO for us. What does that mean in real terms when you're actually using the phone?
It means efficiency, basically. The screen can automatically adjust its refresh rate. So, like, down to 1 hertz if you're just looking at text.
Okay.
All the way up to 120 hertz for smooth scrolling or gaming.
Mm.
And that scaling, that dynamic range is absolutely key. It stops those high refresh rates from just tanking your battery.
Makes sense. And speaking of eye-popping specs,
Yeah.
3600 nits peak brightness. That's
Blindingly bright, yeah. You'll have no trouble seeing it outside, even in direct sun.
But you know what impressed me even more? The bezels. They're symmetrical and measured at just 0.15 millimeters. That's practically invisible.
It really is. It's an engineering boast for sure, but it genuinely helps the viewing experience. When bezels are that thin and even, your brain just kind of ignores them.
Right. Totally immersive, whether you're watching a movie or maybe editing a photo you just took.
Exactly. And under that amazing screen, the fingerprint sensor is top-notch too. They're calling it rocket fast. It's a 3D ultrasonic sensor.
Yeah, I saw that. And it has that little ripple animation when it unlocks.
It does. It's quick. And that animation just adds to the premium feel. It definitely solves the sluggishness we used to see with older under-display sensors.
Okay, let's move inside. The engine room. Dimensity 9500 chip, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 storage. That sounds like standard flagship stuff for late 2025.
It is, but the sources really emphasize the optimization.
Optimization. That always makes me a little skeptical. Is it just managing heat?
Well, that's usually the concern, right? Chip performance hitting a thermal wall. But Oppo claims they've worked really closely with MediaTek on this Trinity engine.
Trinity engine? Marketing buzzword, or is there something actually useful there for the user?
The sources suggest it's tangible. It's supposed to actively balance the load between the CPU, GPU, and memory. The idea is to keep things running smoothly for longer without overheating.
So not just hitting a high benchmark score for 2 minutes.
Exactly. It's about sustained performance.
Yeah.
Like not dropping frames 20 minutes into a heavy game. That's the real benefit.
Agreed. Sustained performance always trumps peak numbers in the real world. And this runs ColorOS 16, based on Android 16, supposedly very fast. But the real breakthrough here, the absolute headline grabber, has to be the battery.
Oh, absolutely. This is the centerpiece, no question. We're talking 7,500 milliamp capacity.
7,500, that's huge for a flagship phone. How?
Silicon carbon battery technology, that's the key.
Okay, silicon carbon. What does that let them do that regular lithium-ion can't?
Higher energy density, a lot higher. Basically, they can cram significantly more power into the same physical space without making the phone a heavy brick. It's a genuine step forward in battery chemistry, not just a small tweak.
And the real-world impact, even with that bright screen and powerful chip. Charging is still fast too, right?
Right.
80W wired, 50W wireless.
Yep. But crucially, the sources found it was genuinely hard to kill this battery in one day, even with heavy use.
Seriously.
Yeah, the standby time is apparently phenomenal. This could actually be one of those rare, true 2-day battery phones for a lot of people.
That's a game changer for the premium market in 2025. Few phones can claim that.
Very few.
Okay, that's the powerhouse hardware. But let's talk software strategy for a second, because ColorOS 16 seems to be borrowing liberally from elsewhere. Some Cupertino sprinkles, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And it points to their market strategy, doesn't it? Oppo is clearly trying to make it easy for people, maybe iPhone users, to switch over.
Reduce the friction, yeah. Like that programmable snap key button.
Yeah.
It's very much like the action button.
It does, and the dynamic island-style notifications at the top.
And there was something called Mindspace.
Right, which sounds exactly like Essential Space. For quickly jotting down notes or thoughts, it's not just copying, though. It feels like a calculated move.
How so?
They're giving users familiar, popular features they might be used to, but wrapped around this incredibly powerful Android hardware. They're essentially buying market comfort, making the switch less daunting.
Interesting strategy. Okay, let's pivot to the cameras, because even before we get to the extra box, the built-in system sounds pretty formidable.
It really does. The main camera is 50 megapixels, uses a big light 828 sensor, has OIS, and a wide f1.55 aperture, so great for low light.
But the periscope zoom, that's the one that caught my eye, 200 megapixels?
200, with a pretty fast f2.1 aperture too. It starts at a default 3x optical zoom, then you've got a 50MP ultra-wide as well.
And that extra sensor, the true color sensor, what's its job?
That's all about accuracy. It captures color data separately from the main image sensor. The goal is that the greens and reds in your photos look like real life, not overly juiced up by processing.
Less digital saturation, more natural look.
Got it. Now, there's a big processing claim here. The phone defaults to shooting in full 50 megapixels, not 12 MP like most others do with pixel binning.
Correct.
That sounds computationally intensive. Huge files, slow shooting speeds. What's the catch?
That's supposedly the challenge Oppo has tackled. They claim the processing power and optimization are there to handle those massive 50 MP files almost instantly.
Really? Minimal lag.
Apparently minimal lag. And the benefit is significant. You get much better detail retention, especially for cropping later.
Okay, so if you have a 50 MP source file, you can punch in, reframe without losing much quality. That's genuinely useful for photographers.
Huge flexibility, exactly. And even the built-in zoom is pretty strong. That 200 MP periscope starts at 3x optical, goes to 6x using a sensor crop, and Oppo is calling the 13x to 22x range lossless.
High-quality digital zoom, essentially.
Yeah, the phone on its own is designed to produce really good zoomed shots, which is impressive. But that brings us to the wild card, box number 2. The Hasselblad teleconverter kit. This is where things get really interesting, right?
This is where it departs from being just a phone.
Yeah.
You open this second larger box. It feels like an event. Big Hasselblad H branding everywhere.
Yeah.
Signals luxury, professionalism.
And inside, what are the components?
3 main things. A carbon fiber case that's crucial. It's the mounting point. Then a little fixture to attach the whole rig to a tripod. And of course, the lens itself.
And this lens, it's not just a cheap clip-on thing.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yep.
Our source described it as a rocket lens. It's cold metal, real glass elements, built to professional optical standards. This is serious gear, not a toy.
Okay. And how does it attach? I heard the mechanism is traumatic.
Yeah, apparently the mounting plate slides onto that special carbon fiber case and locks with a click that sounds like reloading a weapon.
Reloading a weapon, that's quite theatrical. Maybe not ideal for discrete shots at a concert.
Probably not discreetly, no. But I think the drama emphasizes the secure physical lock. This thing isn't going to wobble. Once you twist the lens onto that mount, your phone has basically become a different beast.
A serious camera setup. And the immediate benefit is
Optical quality that software alone just can't match. It transforms the zoom system. You're now starting at a true 10x optical zoom level.
10x optical. Wow.
And the camera app gives you real optical options at 10x, 20x, and even 40x. The difference isn't just detail, though that's better too. It's the bokeh.
Ah, the background blur.
Exactly. That natural, creamy, out-of-focus background you get from real glass and a physically large aperture. Software can try to fake it, but it never looks quite the same as the real thing.
I appreciate the source mentions specific use cases. This isn't for grabbing quick snaps of your lunch.
Definitely not. It's designed for specific situations where you need that reach and quality. Concerts, sports games, maybe even really detailed close-ups of small objects, like intricate Lego models or something. It's portable, yes, but it's a tool you deploy intentionally.
And the crucial point here, unlike similar experiments from, say, Vivo that often stay in China.
Exactly. Oppo is confirming a global release for this kit. That's a major statement about where they see mobile photography going worldwide.
Okay, let's try and tie this all together for you, the listener. The Find X9 Pro on its own is clearly a monster flagship. That 2-day battery, thanks to silicon carbon, the gorgeous flat screen, the powerful 200 MP internal zoom.
It pushes the limits of what you can pack into a standard phone form factor. But then by adding this professional portable optical lens kit, Oppo's making a huge leap. It's almost like they're saying, look, to get the absolute best photos, software alone isn't enough anymore. We need specialized optics again.
Which leads us perfectly to our final provocative thought for you to mull over. If the ultimate mobile camera experience needs this kind of physical lens attachment, something that changes the device's form factor and needs a dedicated mounting process, well, is the very definition of a pocketable phone starting to shift.
Yeah, does the pursuit of absolute image quality mean the future of the true flagship phone camera is actually a two-piece system? Something to think about.
Definitely something to ponder next time you're looking at an upgrade. Thank you for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.